Hey guys, welcome to this beautiful show, The Benjamin Zulu Show. We are set and Benjamin is already boiling with content, nothing else, all right? Now, most of us are aware that so many marriages have broken up because of very many other issues. But one amongst them is the issue concerning money, right? And during dating or while dating, most of us are advised to talk about money. But the million-dollar question is, what do you talk about concerning money? Now, when it comes to marriage, you'll realize that different spouses have decided to run their affair differently when it comes to paying the bills. Some, they have decided to split the bills right in between. And some hold a contrary opinion. Now, today, Benjamin is going to tell you some of the reasons as to why it's wrong to split the bills right in the middle. Hey, Benjamin.
Hey, and you know that's a very important question. How do we manage the money?
Yeah.
You know, this adage of his money is our money,
yeah,
and my money is my money.
My money.
You know, the people talk like that. Others, so there's so much tussle. You had me a question the other day. I was doing my research and I wanted to find out whether the reason was deeper than I was suspecting.
Yeah.
Why in the West, and some people adopting the same thing, where people remain girlfriend, boyfriend for 12 years, 20 years. Yes. They have 3 children. 20 years in, yes. My girlfriend, my fiance. I saw one of the others. He's old and he's talking about his girlfriend. He's old and dying. In fact, he has a stroke. Talking about girlfriend. Can you imagine? He is a globally acclaimed author. Never married, just girlfriend. And the issue, Bramwell, is not, I know you're looking for something big up there. It's money. Imagine. People avoid committing because of the implications in the laws of that country, how seriously marriage is taken, and also tax exemptions when you're not married.
Okay.
So when you get a child and you're not married, there's some tax exemptions people want to capitalize on. And when you get in, there are laws that we need to split in case there's something. Then they came up with something called prenup agreement. You agree before you marry that should anything happen, what was mine remains mine. What was It's money. So money has permeated how we view love and marriage so much that it's mind-boggling. That people are putting their lives on the line to secure money. The second problem is mistrust. So people argue about money because they don't trust each other.
Yes.
I want you to know this. So I promised to introduce you to philosophy of origins of marriage. Got to tell you why we are arguing so much about this. Marriage was instituted by God. You know, he's the one who came up with the idea of this man needs a helper. Yeah. All right, I'll give you a helper that is suitable, a helper that is meet, that is suitable. God was talking about marriage. He was not talking about these other pending stages that lead to marriage, that courtship, that, you know. In fact, when Mary and Joseph were engaged, planning to marry, God told him, don't fear to take your wife. God calls things that are not as if they are, because He is making them to be. All right, there are some things that a title God will use and it will shock you because it's not. He calls Gideon a mighty man of valor, arise in your might, and he's a coward hiding somewhere from the enemies. Yeah. Sometimes God is not calling what you can see. He calls what He can see, what He put in you. Marriage is God's idea. Anybody who tries to do it away from God's idea, it will never work. So those people you hear frustrated, oh, marriage never works, oh, this never works, oh, this is because they're confusing what their own version and the world's version that has been infiltrated by love of money and lack of trust. The love of money is the root of all evil. Yeah. We don't say we are going to be careless with our money, but we must not put money ahead of people, ahead of love, ahead of trust, ahead of genuineness and sincerity and connection. You understand? All right? So the problem we have why people argue how to split money is not the money. Understand that? It's the love of money, is greed, is lack of trust. All right? So the following are the ways, because many people are coming that thing of the split down the middle. Bramwell, when you split bills down the middle with your wife, you have split everything else. Authority. You have divided the authority down the middle. You have divided leadership down the middle. You have divided your power, your presence as a man down the middle. Because if she's paying as much as you are paying, why should she treat you any special? This is common sense. You're paying 50%, I'm paying 50%, everything else, house chores, whatever, should be divided 50%. Why should I consult you on my decisions, where I'm going? Why should I have to ask permission for your space, or are you? You're not earning. Leadership is earned. It's not positional and permanent. In fact, when you get wedded and you're told, I pronounce you, now you are the husband. You're only being given a chance to prove that you're worthy. You're only being inaugurated. The day you are announced CEO, people will give you preliminary acceptance and praise, hoping, watching whether you will measure up. Because they usually put you on probation. Many other places they put you on probation to see whether internship, acting capacity. They have come a way of checking whether you can without committing too much. They don't check whether you are whether you are up to you're up to the task.
Yeah.
Getting married is only the beginning, Brahma. Now there are things that give you, and because God ordained the marriage, He also ordained how it shall operate. The man is a leader. The woman is a supporter. Understand that. You are the driver. She's a co-pilot, helping you navigate, helping you plan ahead. Both of you are in front. Children are behind here. You're carrying them, navigating through life. But you are in charge of this vehicle, Brahma. You are in charge of marriage. Once you get married, if you want it to work, if you want there to be harmony and happiness, be prepared to be the man. Now, I want to define what being the man is: taking charge. Remember that. If you forget everything else, the man takes charge. When the man doesn't take charge, things fall apart. Chidu Achebe said, when the center cannot hold, things will continue falling apart. Yeah. It is you who to take charge means to show the way, to pay the way. To pay the way. Brahman, don't marry if you can't pay, brother. Don't bother. Don't bother. Hey. Don't marry if you can't pay. Marry and set a life for your family that you can afford. Marry and don't count on your wife's income. She could have income even bigger than you or anything. If you count on her income, she becomes an equal partner and you lose control. Remember that. Remember that. We are coming to how she shall contribute. Because she's not coming and being aloof. But she's not coming to take your place. Don't confuse these two. Women are earning, yes, nowadays. They are working. Sometimes you find that because of her diligence, at some point, in terms of the numbers she's bringing in, she might surpass you. Yeah. But forget whether she's earning 0 or 1 million. What I'm telling you is flat and definitive. Be prepared as a man to clothe your family, to shelter your family, and feed your family. And only when you're prepared for that responsibility do you have the preliminary, the fundamentals to marry. Now you can approach a parent and say, give me this daughter. I want to make her my wife, and I'll take care of her. I'll make sure she eats, as long as I'm healthy. Okay. I will feed this girl. That's how you shall measure those boys who come to marry your daughters. The same standard you shall extend to whoever wants to engage with your children. Can you feed her? You cannot count on what she's bringing in to feed her. Then who are you? She was happy alone then. All right? Yeah. Now let me come to how we helped wives shall help. You've heard of stories like our sprinter. Nowadays we have a sprinter, a guy who's running 100 meters.
Yes.
And there was a story that the wife at the first was paying the rent. When they were young, they were growing, and she was the one who was earning money. He was not earning money. There are times when you're starting, you're on the grassroots. And all your money is sometimes not consistent. Your earning is not consistent. It's interspersed here and there, intermittent. You earn, tomorrow you lose. Understand this. Just because the tree is not yet full of fruits does not mean it's incapable of bearing fruits. You took up this wife because you're ready to work and earn and feed your family. She came in fully loaded, ready to help. She did not come to replace you. If you don't understand what we started with, you will marry without being prepared to take up the responsibility. Yeah. So you came up ready to provide. Because you're ready to provide and you're checking out there and you're growing together and she's ready to assist. Occasionally, she's the one in a better place and she buys the food. Has she assumed leadership? No. Has she taken over your place? No. She's simply assisting while you are getting back on your feet. Women can only assist when they know you are coming back on your feet. Even the most good-hearted women never want to help forever. Never want to pay and pay and pay. Never want to be the one like the accountant, or now you start depending on them. In fact, the man is appreciating her because she was doing his work. The woman, when she pays bills, she's doing your work. When you say, okay, when you're earning, I'm earning, let's divide down the middle. You have lost your authority to lead. Now from here, you cannot ask her, where were you? What time did you look up? You can't tell her, you even lose your conjugal rights. Remember, mating is controlled by females. Even in the animal kingdom, it's women who decide whether it will happen or not. You can propose a match. As an officer, as Manu. But she is the referee. If she does not whistle, it will not play. Brother, you might have trained all day for the match. And even put on the uniform. and put sound effects and audience sound and imagination for the game. But the referee, if she does not whistle, no play. So, brother, you split the bills, you split your right to whistle. Okay, so please, in order to maintain your whistling power, earn it, break your sweat out there. All right. Yeah. So there are times your woman will come in to save the situation, but you must still be in front digging. Only that you are digging to did not bear fruit. Mm-hmm. Ferdinand was training and aiming, and she could see how he's moving, and he's in front, he's ahead. It's only a matter of time. Are we together? Mm. He has the capacity, he has the readiness. Let's warn these girls who are looking for men who are already rich, who are already loaded. They're looking for ready-made because their mothers or society told them, get a rich man and you'll be happy. They were never told to work and become a resourceful woman whom a rich man wants. Yeah. Whom a man who's wealthy doesn't come when the money comes. It's a mindset. So I want to teach girls to stop going for the ripe fruit of a man who already has cars and money. Go for the potential, the man who is moving, the man who is already on course. And you can see because of his determination, me and him can grow together. And while he is on those early stages, you can readily assist because you can see him in charge, in front, doing the digging, doing the gym, doing the training. Bramwell is not, money does not come by mystery. Yeah. Money is a result. True. Because of our corrupt nature and how some politicians are corrupt and getting money, you can't see where it's coming from. It's making young people think money is happening chance. It only happens. No. Clean money. Wealth that remains. It's only what you work for. So Bramwell don't need to wait for the money to come to see whether you get money. Yeah. Your consistency, your work ethic, your diligence, your discipline, how you are enthusiastic with your craft. So tell our sisters, tell our daughters to look for men who are enthusiastic about their craft, who are disciplined and focused. That man, if he tells you, he's ready to undertake a family and he can do the basic things of paying, not luxury, but survival for now. Don't start at luxury, you die. Don't promise taking her on trips right now. You in the honeymoon, you go with the pre-wedding money. Donations. Brother. Don't brag too much. Surely. On donations. Fundraised by friends. You don't even feel confident. Early on in your marriage, you can't over-deliver. Only a few people marry when they have made steps in their career. Most of us marry during entry jobs. Yeah. And we are depending on our friends and support to do a few things. So there you live on hope and plan. There you live on work ethic. Remember, tell our daughters the following. It's not the man who is already driving the big cars. If he's already driving, it's okay. There are men who have made steps before they marry. But majority, you are starting on entry levels. Entry levels in terms of you have to depend on his work ethic, enthusiasm, consistency, character. That's what you can see. And you can see he's already reaping small fruits. He can manage his life. Never marry a man in debt. Because a debt is a crisis. Yes. And he is not marrying you for who you are. He's marrying you because of your potential to rescue him. Number two, you cannot tell whether you will ever be out of debt. Some people will be in debt for life. For life. Yeah. They're financially disorganized permanently. The disorganization is internal. Money, the outward disorganization is only a reflection of inside. Okay? If you enter a person's house and you realize everything is everywhere, the sufuria is on top of the mattress, the shoe is under the bed, there's over there, the socks is in the jug, the table this, That outside depicts what is inside. You cannot live an environment that is against how you are inside. It does not mean that people must be perfectionists. No, you expect basic order in a person's space. If a person can live in a very dirty place, that's how they are. Remember, there are ladies who tell you they feel very uncomfortable when their place is it's untidy. Mm-hmm. We used to think they were perfectionists when we were young because boys had a lot of freedom to be dirty. Later on, we realized they were demonstrating something that every mature person has. They were demonstrating that you can't sit in a dirty table when inside you only function in cleanliness. Mm-hmm. You will prioritize first achieving basic environment order. So you see them arranging quickly so that they can concentrate because now it rhymes how they think inside. All right? Mm-hmm. If a man has not organized himself, if a man has not stand on his 2 feet, marriage is not a rite of passage. He does not need to marry yet. Let him do another passage of passing out of debt, passing out of crisis. Don't assist a man to mature up by marrying him. Yeah. Let him assist himself so that you know he can lead. Mm-hmm. All right? Tell women to stop paying for their own bride price. It's disrespectful. Mm-hmm. You're selling cheap. You're behaving desperate. You're showing the money you'll do anything to get a husband. Mm-hmm. All right? So that's the biggest problem with and I'll tell you the second thing what happens is, so if we are splitting bills down the middle, it means you as a man, you're being assisted to lead and you're not in charge. You're all at par together. You lose authority to call shots or suggest anything within authority, and then resentment. The next consequence. The woman comes to see you're not any different. Mm-hmm. She comes to see that she could have been perhaps up here. Some people don't sit down and divide down the middle. But the woman actually takes up some permanent bills. For example, the school fees. The men only pay the rent. Mm-hmm. They pay the rent. And that's all. It disappears now. Maybe some small shopping. But the woman is carrying the bulk. The school fees. You know, the major things that need a lot of money. And the man is like seated back. Remember, if children grow, if the environment is whereby the woman is one who's the beast of burden, the donkey, the one who carries the heavy load, what does that happen? The children begin to pity and to see the mother is suffering, is the one who is making the marriage stand, is the one who is being dependent on. Eventually, the children developed a warped, a twisted conclusion about how marriage operates. Mm-hmm. The boys become frustrated and they begin, some who think men have a right to just have it easy. Others will get angry. What's the point? They will despise marriage. The daughters will end up either adopting to look like the mother and start looking, they entertain men like that. Or they hate the whole idea altogether of marriage. Did we tell people that if you stay in a marriage that is imbalanced, stressful, where you're crying, where you're neglected, unloved, and you're staying for the sake of the children, actually, you're staying for the children's harm, you are immersing them in a very hurtful environment, and people use them as an excuse. They just fear to start afresh. Yeah. We said even if you can't carry the children, remove yourself. Mm-hmm. That act of removing yourself, what does it tell the children? You have a choice to remove yourself when you're not treated right. Mm-hmm. You show them that you don't have to stay. Number two, you give them an option, somewhere to come if they want a peaceful home. If they want another environment, you give them somewhere to come. Mm-hmm. So the problem here we are saying is that you as a lady, if you agree to split, we agree to divide, and we are not saying they are not going to contribute. Mm-hmm. We are saying the man must be in charge, ahead, in control. The other problem you realize is this. If you're being left and you have agreed, there are women who feel responsible. They feel they want to contribute, they want to do what. She loses her freedom to grow. How? Because she has bills on her back. She cannot just take a few months leave to study something. Take a few months leave to do something else. She may not even be fully attentive to the young children. Remember we said women have another parallel career. Yeah. Childbearing, that bringing up a child. The man is involved, but the first hands, the first one who is close, who bring the pregnancy, the breastfeeding, the primary care is always the mother. If the mother has bills to pay, she's distracted. She feels burdened. Now, there are men who stay home themselves. When you walk, like sometimes in the West it's very common. Mm-hmm. The child can arrive and the two of them agree. Because of the nature of your work and the nature of my work, you stay back, I go. Mm-hmm. When a child is involved, when the responsibilities of family are involved, and we can see the income we are having, who is more advantageous, we can agree as a team which one is more strategic. Mm-hmm. We are not being dogmatic. When we have agreed and I'm in charge here, I'm still in charge of the leadership of the family. We simply adjusted with my team player who will play which side. Women want to feel like you're still in charge even when you're the one remaining home with the children. And a good woman, will never trumpet it up there and say, oh, my man is it back. Oh, in fact, she'll be very happy. Have you noticed how happy women are to see men being hands-on with their children?
Yeah.
They feel so taken care of. They feel so... They say the way to a woman's heart is our children. You can always touch a woman's heart if you're so hands-on with the kids, so hands-on with the children. So we are not being dogmatic. Times may come when it is more strategic because of the nature of your work. Our gifts. There are men who are so easy with the children. I have a friend of mine who is so close with the daughter. When he's coming from work, he comes quickly, they spend time there with the daughter, and the mother can go and they spend a whole day with the kid. A young kid, less than 2 years. The people are very good with children. But who is still in charge of the leadership of the family? The man. You must never confuse babysitting with relinquishing control. You still must think about the direction of the family. Although children, many people, because of naivety, lack of knowledge, they may think taking care of a child is a small duty. It's a very huge duty. Yeah. Because you are molding a life, a destiny. It is so crucial. It's like sitting on eggs. Baby hen will forget everything. Mother hen will forget everything and sit on eggs. And grow thin and sacrifice everything. Sacrifice mobility, sacrifice what? To sit on eggs. That nurturing period is so critical. There are men who, even us who are still, you find that we are the ones who are working more. We must create at least a time every day to be with their child from the day they are born. Don't wait for them to be able to be cognizant and recognize you. Create that bonding from the word go and make it a rigid routine. Make it a routine that you attend to religiously. I always hold my baby. Every time, as much as possible. Of course, circumstances sometimes in a day or two may happen that you're not around. But if you make it your tradition, it becomes your automatic. As automatic as how you eat home, as how you sleep at home, as how you do things at home. Make you as a father, make your contact, direct contact with your baby, with your children, as direct as that. There's an emotional bond. There's a connection. There's a seeing their face form. Them learning to recognize your face, your voice. In fact, we are encouraged to start talking to the babies when they're in the mother's womb. Apparently, they can hear. Brother, imagine you can talk to the tummy. Now, Brahman, you're going to be doing some things. They don't tell you the full job description of a husband. Yes. When you're marrying, it's all romantic. There's some other funny job descriptions, like changing a bulb. Talking to tummies. You address that child before they're born. Yeah. You bond with them. In fact, for you, the love for them begins to deepen. When the love deepens, as the baby grows, they'll be responding on that depth. Remember the verse that deep calls to deep? There must be two deep love. Two deep loves, so to speak. You love deeply, the kid will love you deeply. The reason we are casual with our children, we have been looking away. Oh, the way the mother is pregnant. Oh, the way they are 2 weeks old. Oh, they're just minding our business. The child will arrive and they can't love you any deeply than you love them. You're not even available. You're not paying attention. Yeah. It's for our good as men to start the journey early with child. Be there. Be there even the day of delivery. Those milestones, the day the child arrived on earth. Be around. Some men can go to the labor ward. Some may not go. It's about your psychological, how you feel the situation. Some hospitals allow, others don't. Even if they allow you, you can always decide. It's according to how overall you think it will affect you. But as long as you're present, your woman feels your presence. The baby feels loved. And you can always tell them tales of that night when they were born. Can you imagine? What kind of a story is that? The tale of how they were born, the day they were here. So even if you're the one taking care of babies, taking care of, and you are in charge of the family, the woman will happily submit. Let me remind you, the last thing you'll have lost is your woman's submission. Submission is not forced. Submit that I am the man here. And although, as I told you, there are female human beings who can never submit to anything. Please, even if you're a husband material, make sure you marry a wife material. We have women who can never, they are angry with every male thing. And they take every opportunity to express their hatred. They have a lot of unresolved issues. Yeah. And they express the bitterness everywhere. But I also told you they're very beautiful and charming. They actually weaponize their beauty.
Yeah.
They want to look that way to make you feel you know. They have a lot of sick psychology, and if you're not careful, you can be caught up. So we are talking as long as your wife has a heart for marriage. Let's emphasize that again. Marriage was ordained by God, and it takes a calling. It requires patience, willingness to hear rebuke and correction, self-discipline, to control your appetites, control your passions, tame yourself, your desires as a man, as a woman. Remain committed to one person throughout life. Who said that's an easy thing? Who? A man shall live. To live means to individuate, to separate from. Does not mean to abandon, but to be different enough so that you can now merge lives with this one. You're there before, maybe you are enmeshed with your family, you are too close, you were very, you are doing your life together. Now it's your wife, it's your immediate family that you need to be tied, to be close to. And as I told you, if your woman is not your number one, she is not really your wife.
True.
She must be a first friend, the first person you discuss with. She must be the first person you evaluate issues of life with. If she only comes later to learn from whoever, that's disrespect. You're actually denying her of the rights of her position. She was supposed to be your helper. The closer to you. If you allow anybody come in between, whether it's your daughter, a girl you had before you married her, or son, anybody, your mother, your brother, whoever, friends, boys, the boy club or football or gaming, if there is anybody who comes before you and your wife, you are not doing marriage right, and perhaps you are not supposed to be husband. Not all men who have children have the capacity to be husbands. Getting a child is biology. Being a husband is character. Being able to sire, make pregnant. Can you tell women to stop marrying the men who make them pregnant? And men to stop marrying the women they make pregnant? Pregnancy is a matter of biology. Does not need any character or honesty or commitment. Just needs some the activity, and biology will take up from there. Okay?
Yeah.
I don't know why people think that way. I must marry this so that I can be my child. You can be with your child without trying to force the mother to be what she's not. A lot of men have married impossible women because they sired a child with her.
Yeah.
Child came from sex. Marriage is a totally different story. Totally different. And I must tell you that the submission we are talking about is a woman who has a heart prepared to be led. To submit means to be led, to be leadable. Brother, if you are a leader, make sure the one you are with is leadable. Don't marry official position. All right? Where everything must be debated before anything can be arrived on. One way to secure your authority is to pay for your family. If your woman is earning, let her now come in to contribute. Let her come in now to assist. But you are always in front, in charge. To be in charge does not mean to be a dictator. It means to take responsibility. We always discuss what is best for us. We hear inputs together. Does not mean I hush, I silence, I suppress. No. Leaders don't always know it all. It means that the buck stops them. They are willing to go out there to show the way in front, take responsibility, take the risks, protect the family, feed the family. And I told you, among many other things I want you to do, and I want you to go out of your way, do whatever you can. Pay rent for your family so that it hurries you up to build a home for them.
Yeah.
If your wife is paying rent, you won't see the need quickly to build a home. You will get comfortable. When you feel the pinch and the annoyance of dealing with a landlord every month, you end month, and how many things you can't control. You know, many of our houses, it's a slice.
Yeah.
It's a guy below you and a guy above you. You climb with some stairs to come into the slice that is allocated to you. What do you call flats? Just slices of bread, and you are in slice number 8. And it's so much congested. There's a guy, when he has an activity above you, you can hear it. Below activity, when there's chaos above here, there's no privacy, man. Congestion, and you need to park, you have to squeeze. Sometimes you wake up at night and get out another guy to get in. Funny things. You know. Yeah. I want you to be in charge. That those small nuisances can remind you you're not yet home. Okay? And sometimes I enjoy it when I'm irritated because it tells me this is not yet home. You know, sometimes I will be walking up, they own now this car, or they are looking around who owns which car. So they come knocking every house. Who owns this car? So I want you to be in charge so that you can feel the discomforts of not belonging quite. Then I started thinking, if this was my compound with my gate. I was like, somebody knocks my car at the parking. No, I have to do repairs, man. Somebody hits and runs out. Whenever it hits, you're casing. So that, what does that tell me? If it was my place, I'm entering and locking the gate. Whether I even forget to lock the car or not, it's a secure safe. That's now my next step. You see? Yeah. What if I was not in charge handling these things? I wouldn't see them. I want you to be in charge out there, in front there, so that you can handle the things. I want you to deal with the tokens. Deal with power. Pay it so that you can tell the patterns. You can see. In fact, I like that Eustress. Eustress is anticipation of challenge. Mm-hmm. Stress is when you are suppressed. Eustress is when you anticipate what is in front and you are up in gear. Yeah. So don't earn your woman's submission by being right in front. Mm-hmm. And because she sees how you are eagerly leading, happily in charge, and trudging in front there, she will happily fall in line behind you. Yes.
I like that, Benjamin. Wow. If we split the bills in between Benjamin, yes, I split everything.
Exactly.
That is where I have to begin. But again, there is a statement you began you began with. You said that God is the crafter of marriage.
Exactly.
He designed marriage.
Yes.
And marriages are failing because we are operating outside his rationale.
Exactly.
Now, Benjamin, somebody will argue that for us to come together, we are coming together to make this thing work. Mm-hmm. Marriage is commitment. Marriage is working as a team. Mm-hmm. Now, if we are working as a team and the woman is the one earning more, then others will argue, then I don't have a problem if my wife is earning more, yet I'm compensating for the welfare of the family in other activities. What about that?
Exactly. When you said splitting down the middle, we were saying avoiding taking any more work than she's taking.
Okay.
That was the meaning. Mm-hmm. It did not mean that at some point she can't pay more. Mm-hmm. But you see, even when she's paying more, who is answerable for the family? You. Whose name, whose frame, who is in charge of when the dog barks to go out and check security issues? Mm-hmm. Who is in charge of when there's a case at the county offices? Who should first of all be the first responder? Mm-hmm. When there's a threat to the family, challenge when the kid has an issue in school. Bramwell, I'm talking about when the kid has an issue in school, who jumps right to show up? You might be far away. But you're the first person to respond and coordinate. Even if your wife is the one who has gone to the site, they can see who is the principal of this school.
Yeah.
Okay? Mm-hmm. I want you to be the one in front protecting your children. One in front taking care of. When your wife has a health issue, jump to action. Even if you can't be there physically, coordinate and get her assisted. Mm-hmm. Your wife needs your protection. You are not equals. This life is harsh, and it's more harsh on women. Mm-hmm. You can pass through a dark place. Of course, you're also prone to thieves and all that. But the exposure to women is different than to you. The thieves are likely to be men like you. You can't send your wife to go check who is knocking the door at night. Why is the dog barking? Who is ringing the bell at night? The man. So I'm saying it's not just her earning more. Now forget just the money. Mm-hmm. Think now in terms of not just the money, but also where are we? Who is in front handling things? She can give the money quietly for you to continue handling the challenges, thinking the direction of the family. She's assisting, she's a team. Remain in front. Even if the bulk of the money is coming from her, the responsibility. Remember, there's a difference between you only delegate duties, you don't delegate authority.
Yeah.
You delegate duties. For now, you're paying for that. For now, you're paying for that duties. But the authority, the direction of the family, the security, the headship, the covering, that forever, as long as you are alive, brother. Mm-hmm. I don't allow you to. Surely, if your wife is employed as Nunu Shingila, the head of Facebook in Africa, or the president of TZ Zulu, surely she'll be earning more than you, most likely.
Yes.
But has she taken over the leadership of the family?
No.
Thank you. That is still your work.
Wow. Thank you, Benjamin, for that. I hope, guys, you've understood what Benjamin meant that. Go beyond the finances, okay? I hope you've gotten that very clear. That is what I wanted Benjamin to clarify. Thank you so much for watching the Benjamin Zulu Show. Always remember, as men, your marriage will take the lead or the direction where you lead them. Take the lead. Thank you. Till next time on the Benjamin Zulu Show.